Identity family, we're back again on the AfricaUnity platform. My name is KingIdris and I'm here to give you guys the new insight on what is going on the ground in Africa and international community. Kudos to everyone that have been liking and subscribing to my channel. I have enormous respect for you guys. I'm just out here to give you guys the new insight on what is going on around the world and on the home ground in Africa. So my people, we're back at it again. We'll be going straight to the topic we'll be deliberating today. We'll be talking about Mesut Ozil, the Qatarian citizen, come out with the picture and the poster of Mesut Ozil to fight against the criticism of the Western culture at their World Cup on the Arab province. The Arab people are really fighting back, against the criticism about them not allowing everybody to be who they are, like on the the rainbow band issue and everything going on. And you can see the Qatarian people posting and holding high the picture of Mesut Ozil. So what do you think about this, Mr. Steven?
We mentioned some time ago on this platform how strongly opposed the Qataris are to the LGBTQ community. Qatar is purely an Islamic state.
Yes.
And they have made it known times without number that they are not for LGBTQ. And Qatar is not the only country. All Arab countries are purely Islamic.
Yeah, they're all Islamic.
They're all Islamics, and the tenets of Islam does not allow that. In case of Ozil, Ozil is half Turkish, half European.
Yes, half Turkey, half German.
Half Turkey, half German. He played for Germany many years.
Yeah. And
later he retired to Turkey to play for Fenerbahce in a Turkish club. And when Europe came to this World Cup with their mentality of this rainbow-colored armband to express their feeling and support for LGBTQ, Qatar and many Arab countries are opposed to it, and that is what Ozil is being fronted for to express in this case by Qatari indigenous, Qatari fans, who are saying that we stand with our belief. We stand with Ozil, who is not a supporter of LGBTQ and is not in support of the rainbow band. And when Germany and Spain played, and the people of Germany are still trying to enforce that LGBTQ mentality, people in Qatar do not support that. And because Ozil has a
Muslim background,
a history of Europe and a history of Turkey, he's somebody who is, like, to me, a balanced person in this case. He lived well in Europe for many years and is a Turkish by origin. So he still holds firm his belief in Islam, which opposes LGBTQ. And that is why people are holding his portrait, his identity, that this is somebody who understands you. If you don't want to believe us, Ozil is somebody who understands you very well. He has been with you and is not in support of what you believe. That is why they are holding that and say, okay, it's an identity we have, it's a campaigner we want to support. And that's why they are holding their the portrait and covering them out to say, you still need to express ourselves. This is our land. We need to express everybody is free. Freedom of speech is essential in any human community.
And mostly in the Arab province, in the Gulf area, the Ozil picture, I really understand where you're coming from. Like, Ozil is the only person, like, the Arab communities can use to counterfeit the German national team because of the enormous history that Ozil have with the German national team when he grew up in the country, from being an immigrant in Germany, grew up in Germany with his Turkish parents. But at the end of the day, they had their own misunderstanding between the German national team, Ozil, and the German national team, and the fallout, and Ozil later fall back to his own people of the Arab heritage and fall back to Turkey when he's now playing for Fenerbahce, and a lot of people have enormous respect for him compared to when he was in Europe. So that is the reason why the Arab people came out about this, because they felt like what the German government or the German football body did to Ozil about whatsoever he said about Germany in the previous World Cup, they doesn't need to use it against him. And now they're coming to the Arab world to tell them how to run their World Cup and how to behave, or to go about in their own country. So this is the reason why the Arab people are holding Ozil picture so high.
Ozil has contributed more to Germany than most of these people who are criticizing Ozil for whatever he believes. This is somebody that has laid down his life playing for Germany many, many years. So I don't believe how some people will just believe that whatever they think is final, is ultimate in itself. No, people are allowed to express themselves. People are expected to express their faith, their belief. Arab countries are purely Islamic, and by going by the virtue of their belief, this is not what they can entertain. No matter how much pressure you want to put on these people,
they will not
budge down.
They have already told them that they won't accept it.
They will not accept
this.
This
Not their culture, and they should respect their people too.
Yeah, we've said this severally. If you want to practice your belief, practice it in an environment where you are allowed. They have their own belief, they have their own laws. It is not going to work. Ozil, to me, has done something very, very interesting here, because he lived in Europe. He saw all these things, and he felt he could not cope with it. He pitched his tent back with his origin, which is Turkey.
And we can see the Arab people, the people from the Gulf area, they are protesting against the Israel people in Palestine. They are really coming out, supporting their people on the Palestinian ground, like mostly from the Moroccans people. After their win, they really voice out deep and show their massive support for the Palestinian people. And we see enormous footballer in this competition don't want to have nothing to do with the Israeli journalists. Like most of the Israeli journalists, they're trying to ask questions, and nobody's trying to pay attention to most of the journalists that comes from Israel. Why do you think this happened? Like most of the journalists of Israel, once they're asking people questions, people just walk away. So why do you think this is happening in Qatar World Cup?
One thing we cannot take away from this Arab country is that they are always in solidarity with their brothers. When it comes to religion, the Islamic world is the most formidable. They believe injury to one is injury to all. So whatever that happens to one of them, they are ready to defend. They are ready to throw in all their weight behind their brother. And we have history of Israel and Palestine in wars every time. So every time things come up like this, the Arab world will always stand behind their people. And that is why whenever, as you said, whenever a journalist from that end of the world comes up to interview people, ask people, because they believe in their own opinion that Israel is like the tormentor in this case, like the troublemakers. So the only thing they can do to express their anger, their dissatisfaction of whatever trouble goes on around that place is just to ignore them, just to exonerate the journalists, and that is what they have been doing.
But why is the countries in the Gulf area having issue with themselves? Because Israel is in the Gulf area with these Arab countries. So why can't they just, on my platform, it's all about unity. We push about unity. We talk about unification. We talk about oneness, togetherness. Why can't the people at the World Cup just accept them to the way they accept everybody? Why are they using the World Cup venue and this festival as the opportunity to go against the Israeli people? So what do you think about this? Is it good for the Arab from other countries like, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, other countries in the World Cup, Tunisia, is it the right time for them to go into this kind of behavior in speaking up for Palestinian people in the Qatar World Cup? Do you think is good?
No, the Palestinians cannot match Israel when we talk about strength, especially in warfare. They cannot. And this is the only way. This is a platform for global attention. The World Cup is a platform for global attention. So this is the time they believe they have to hear their view, their annoyance, to speak up again. This is the time everybody will hear. Now, every activity in the world is like on a standstill for this World Cup. Every attention is there. This is the time to speak again for the people to hear them. And that is why they are using this opportunity to raise the awareness again.
About the Palestinian issue, the way the Israelites treat the Palestinian people.
Yeah, they have been maltreated.
So the way they treat them. So after the match of Belgium and Morocco, a lot of things happened in Belgium, like even in Morocco, like a lot of issue, a lot of outbursts came out in the city, whereby a lot of people, you know, like they're burning things, they're fighting because they don't want them, they don't like the way, you know, they win them against Belgium.
You know, in football, there are always some people that are fanatical. Even in Cameroon, I learned that a player that played against Cameroon, that scored against Cameroon, who has Cameroonian origin, people still went to the parents' house and attacked them.
Umbolo, he is a player that played for Swaziland, that beat
a
Cameroon.
Player played for Swaziland, played against Cameroon and scored. And because of his attachment to Cameroon, the player did not celebrate. But people were so fanatical that
he was born in Cameroon.
He was born, yes. People are so fanatical. They even went to the mother's house and went to destroy things. So there are some people like that who did not see sports as a game, who did not see sport as a way of bringing unity to people. They see it as a kind of mini war. So people like that are always everywhere.
So there are some people that also see football as a game of peace and unity. They see it as a platform to go against other tribe and other country, you know, to attack other people. Yes. So it's what it is. The Qatarian people, they don't want no other bad culture in their country. They just want people to come to their country to respect them for who they are. That is the reason why they're fighting back. They're using everything they have to, you know, to safeguard their World Cup and to safeguard their territory at the time. Like, it's what it is. Like, this is the only time the Middle East country is hosting a winter World Cup. So my brother, I'll be going to the other topic. We'll be talking about the prolific boxer that come out of Mexico, Canelo Alvarez, have already came out about Messi kicking the jersey of Mexico in the dressing room. You know, he really speak about this. He said when he see Messi, it will be on site. And after a lot of prolific footballer came for him and they talked about this, like, no, you can't just talk about Messi like that. And they take this case of mostly people that speak up is Ibrahimovic and some other prolific player in England. You know, once they speak out about this, you know, he came out to apologize. So what do you see about Messi behavior kicking the jersey in the dressing room, you know, and Canelo, the boxer Alvarez, you know, talking about him, saying him is going to be on site. So what do you think about this situation?
You know, we spoke about Cristiano Ronaldo the other time, about his outburst in the interview with Piers Morgan, and we said that there are certain people who have global standard, global recognition. Whatever they say, whatever they do or refuse to do will be interpreted and will have weight. Lionel Messi is one of the greatest sportsmen on earth now. So whatever Messi does or fails to do has a lot of implication. The Mexican national team jersey is a national asset.
The national identity.
It's a national identity for Mexicans. It's not just a jersey. And for Messi, a man of that status, who has a very good history of behavior on the pitch and off the pitch, to have done that is, to me, is a bit off band. He shouldn't have done that because it's like a slap on the face of Mexicans. And that is why we need somebody of high status to challenge him. And
so that is the reason why
Canelo, yes, spoke up.
That these are my people, Jesse. This the identity of
Canelo
my people.
Too,
this is my identity. It's a Mexican.
It's not a mean man.
No.
It's not an ordinary man.
Nah.
Whatever he says must carry weight. And that is why people are coming out now too to intervene in this matter. However, what Canelo said is wrong as well. You can't say you beat somebody up. That is a threat. It is not allowed in a civil space.
Yeah.
And that's why some people have to come. And you see, all those people that are coming are people of high standard, high caliber people.
Yeah.
Those are the people that can intervene. And fortunately, this thing has been put to rest. So, in essence, you don't have your status on trample on people. That's what I have to say to Messi. You can't use your status to trample on people. No, nobody, no reasonable country will take that.
And let me tell you, let me add up to that. Like, if you remember the case of Taribo when he was playing for AC Milan in Italy. He played for Inter Milan. When he was playing for AC Milan, he was playing for Inter Milan in Italy. Taribo West of Nigeria, the prolific defender of Nigeria, get angry when the coach of Italy at the time, Mancini, took him out. He took out the uniform of Inter Milan and he slammed it on the floor in the presence of his coach. And at the end, a lot of the Italian citizens came out to say Inter Milan national team, international Inter Milan jersey is a symbol of the Italian people because it's blue and have the same blue with the Italian flag. So with this will cause the end of our prolific defender at the time, Taribo West, and it was on point. It was one of the best defender in the world at the time, just because of an anger that he threw the jersey of the international football club down in the presence of the coach. This really affected his career and ended his career, and they traded him that same year to Leeds City in England, where he tried to take them, to keep them in the Premiership, but they went on relegation that made them go on a longer time of relegation before they came back to the Premiership now. So what do you think about that?
No, just as I said, there are items that are symbols of bigger things. A jersey, as you said, is a representation of that club. These are clubs that have been there for hundreds of years.
Yeah, they've been there.
Yeah, they've been there for hundreds of years. There are some people. Okay, recently I read that John Terry, who played for England, who captained England, who played for Chelsea, who captained Chelsea, said his family were die-hard fans of West Ham.
Yeah.
That a day he scored against West Ham and he went to celebrate, that he heard his uncle cursing him right from the stand. Because to them, that was their tradition.
That is a personal symbol of the family.
Yeah, it's a representation of the family.
Yeah.
They have this love for this club. And you, being one of us, now, to them, it's like destroying that club, destroying their identity, destroying their joy. So, clubs and countries have certain identities, certain symbols. They cannot afford
You can't joke with it.
You can't joke with it. They won't allow you. They won't allow you. The other time we talk about Ronaldo too, you cannot bring Man U down. There are people who lived all their life for Man U.
Yes.
There are people who
and that's what they drink and sleep and eat
yes.
every day is Manchester United.
No matter the love that existed between Rooney and Ronaldo, Rooney will not allow you to bring this club down. Because
he's an Englishman, and it's like you're bringing all the English people down.
Of course, that's the most successful club in England. England. So, people like that should know. Symbols like that should be respected, whether you like it or not. If you have issues with your club or with your manager, trash that out behind the scene. I cannot stand for something and you trample on that. Personally, too, I will not agree to that. It's either you live by our standard or you leave.
So, the boxer was just trying to safeguard and protect his own people, and protect his identity, which is the Mexican people and the Mexican flag that is being placed on the football jersey. So it's what it is. Make sure you should take it easy, you know, because the Mexican people, they don't toy with their identity. It's what it is, you know. So my brother will be going to the next one. We'll be talking about Elon Musk and AOC. They go head to head on Twitter. Elon Musk is the new owner of Twitter, and AOC is she's a person that represented the people of the Bros area, you know, in the politics of the American politics, and they go head to head with Elon Musk, the new owner of Twitter, you know. And a lot have been coming on this Twitter issue, like he wants people to pay $8 every month on Twitter, which was free to to get into before. But now Elon Musk, the new owner, wants you to pay $8 every month on Twitter, and he has already sacked a lot of people that work with the company in their head office in Ghana. The only head office they have in Africa, in Ghana. He sacked a lot of people. So what do you think about this?
Ed, you know, this news is just breaking. It's an unfolding story, and I'm happy that you are bringing it up. Elon Musk, as at now, is the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has been able to make spacecraft that has been able to travel to the orbit. Is the one that's engineering, front leading what is called electric cars. Is the one that makes Tesla.
Yes.
A car that is not using gas at all. So Elon Musk has made a lot of impact in our environment. We cannot take that away from him.
In the human environment.
Yeah. Now, we all know that another money spinning business is information technology.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And that is why Elon Musk is buying this over. But what put a kind of distaste in my mouth is him trying to sack a lot of people.
He has already sacked them.
Yes,
He has already sacked them. He sacked a lot of people in Africa, in Ghana. He sacked them, and some people they don't even have their their payment. You know.
Generally, capitalists are money focused. The only thing a capitalist wants is more money.
It's all about money.
It's all about money, and I think Elon Musk should not start off taking over a company and start doing this. And when you compare that with this information that he wants to charge money,
$8 every month.
$8 every month
For subscription on Twitter.
Yeah, to people maybe in America and Europe and Canada, that may not be too much, but there is a lot of followers all over the world. A lot, several billions of people all over the world using Twitter. I think it may not be too, in my own opinion, it may not be too good. You take over a company, and the first thing you are doing is sacking people and charging them for something they have been using freely. And that is why, America is a land of freedom. That is why this lady, AOC, is trying to contest that.
Yeah, to fight for the people. Yeah, speak out for the people.
Fight for the people. That's why the fact that there is a lot of money in the US, there's still a lot of people who are struggling to make ends meet. And right now, social media is a very veritable tool where people get information, where people pass information. So it will be wrong for you to just come and deny people a lot of access.
Because there's this lady, Doja Cat. Doja Cat is one of the prolific musicians out of America. She changed her name to Christmas. And, for her to change her name back after a few days, it was very hard. She has to call out and call on to Elon Musk on his personal Twitter account to help her out, that she doesn't want to stalk. She doesn't want her name to be stalked forever on Twitter as Christmas. And he came out, they talked about this, and he helped her and tell her to check it back and change the name. And she changed the name to whatsoever she want to change it to. So why people coming out for Elon Musk is, you can't just put $8 on everyone every month. For people in Africa and other side of the world, like most of the third world communities, like you can talk about Nigeria being the highest user of Twitter in the West African province and mostly in Africa. Like, it's not every Nigerian will have that $8 to pay, because if you're talking about $8, that is equivalent to close to 4,000 naira in Nigerian money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money just to subscribe onto Twitter. That's too much. That's too much for people coming from the third world country. It should be basically good for most of the rich people that come out for Europe and maybe North America.
Yes, you are right. What is particularly not good about this thing, what I've learned about American business society is that whenever they want to charge, they give you notice.
Yeah.
They give you enough time to plan for it.
Yeah.
You know, American society runs purely and mainly on credit. So they give you enough time to plan for it. If you like, you can plan for it. If you don't like, you can opt out. But when you take over a business and you are slamming them with $8 every month, that is, to me, is not too good. Although I want to give it to Elon Musk that whatever he does, he always does with perfection. That is good. Excellence is in his DNA. I know that, but at least you give some people some breathing space. Let them be aware. Let them plan.
You know what I think about? I think maybe he's trying to just opt his own business to,
Yes.
you know, to put the Twitter to the kind of level like YouTube, you know, Facebook, all other social media platforms are being on. That is what I think he's trying to do.
Yes.
And I think the money or, you know, the awareness of him coming at the new chairman is going to change a lot of stuff. So
Of course, I agree. I've said it. Excellence is in his DNA. Is going to change a lot of things, and there are going to be a lot of improvement. I agreed, but my concern is let him give people some time. Let them get time to get used to the new programs, the new things. It's going to
the new development in the company.
The new level is taking Twitter to.
In the world. So we'll be talking about the next one. We'll be talking about why most young African player later played for, you know, European countries and they never play for their home country in Africa. Why do you think this coming up? Because, you know, there's a lot of tweets coming out, and, you know, there's a lot of tweets coming out, and a lot of people have been talking about this. Like, you know, we can see the Mbappe, the prolific player of France, the striker of France now, the #1 striker in the world. His father came out to say that he wants his son to play for Cameroon because Mbappe is originally from Cameroon, but the Cameroonian national team told them to bring money before he can play for the Cameroon national team. And this is the reason why it took him to the other country, because, you know, everybody coming from the French colonized country, they have dual citizenship. You can claim your African host country, or you can go to France. So, you know, his father took this advantage and moved him to France, and now he's the #1 striker in the whole world. So what do you think about this?
You see, apart from being an indigenous of Cameroon and has dual citizenship, any player that has not played for a country and is under 21 can play for any country he wants.
Yeah.
Yes. If you are not under 20, you are under 21, and you have, even if you have played for other countries in a age-graded competition, you can still switch your national.
Yeah, FIFA said identity. FIFA said if you play like 1 or 2 games, not like 3, 4, 5, 6, you can still change to other places.
You can still play for other countries. And you know, this is the bane of African countries, not only in football. No, you have good qualities, you have the zeal to serve your country, but people will still ask for bribe. They still ask you to bring money for them to fix you in a place where you can function very well. Mbappe's father just said this, maybe as an eye-opener to many people. This has been going on in many countries for many, many years.
In Africa.
And that is why you see African players of African origin playing for many, many European clubs. And they are doing fantastically well. They are doing very, very well.
We see the Inaki brothers from Ghana. One is playing for another team, and one is playing for Ghana. One is playing for Spain, and one is playing for Ghana. We see the Boateng brother from Germany. One is playing for Germany, and one is playing for Ghana. And we can see the Balotelli, the prolific player from Italy. He played for the Italian national team at the highest level, one of the highest goal scorer in history, and is origin is from Ghana. We see Bukayo Saka from England, that is a Nigerian that play for Arsenal, is in the World Cup now with England. A lot of prominent players like Umboyo, the guy that play for Switzerland, like they want to scatter his father's house in Cameroon for scoring against Cameroon. We see these prolific people. We can see Pogba, a lot of prominent people. N'Golo Kante comes from Africa. Even the prolific striker of Belgium. You know, we talked about enormous people. You know, a lot of people, Benteke, a lot of other people too, they all come from Africa. So why can't we keep our own youth to play for us? Because if we talk about the history of Germany, and you're talking about the best defender ever in the history of Germany, you mentioned Boateng. And if you play for Ghana, it should have been him having the same history and name for Ghana. If you talk about the biggest striker in the history of the Italian people, you're going to mention Balotelli. If you mention the biggest midfielder in the world in history of France, you're going to mention Pogba. And you can see, you know, the Algerian nationalists that play for the French people too, like Benzema, like Zinedine Zidane, a lot of prominent people. Why can't we Africa keep our own glory for ourselves? Why do they have to play for the Western culture? Is it because of the, you know, the infrastructure? Is it because of the, you know, what is the reason why?
You know, apart from bribery that you mentioned, another thing you just mentioned is the infrastructure. In Africa, we don't have the infrastructure.
We don't have the same quality with the European countries, right?
We don't have the same quality. We don't have the same quality. That is why every young player in Africa, the first priority is to get out of Africa. Because the infrastructure is not here. We don't have it. We don't have it. Even if they don't want to take money from you, we don't have it. And most of players in African teams, national teams of Africa, are the ones that are playing abroad. They just need to record them when they want to play for the national team. How many local players are in any national team in Africa? All the teams that are representing Africa, how many of their players are locally based?
It's very hard.
It's very hard
for you to say local players.
Yeah, they are playing
Most
abroad.
they are all European-based players.
Because they have the infrastructure, they have the structure, they have the system that to support them. How many clubs in Africa have youth team like you have for most of these European teams? We
like
don't have
the
them.
Spanish people, the Italian team,
Arsenal,
and everything. Arsenal, yeah, in England.
So we don't have them. Another factor is the money. You know, in Europe, even if you are not highly rated, you earn a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of prospects. Scouts can easily identify you. They can easily see you. So we have to give it to these players. I don't want to condemn because, you know, in a game of football, you have very, very limited time. At 30, no clubs want to sign you more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
How many players in the world can play at top level like Ibrahimovic, like Ronaldo, like Messi? Only very few. So these are the factors why these people will want to go abroad to play, especially in Europe. And when they get to Europe, if they are lucky, they are under 21. When opportunity comes for them to play in another country, they play. I remember on occasions, the national team of Nigeria, they have rejected the airplanes provided by the football association in that country to fly them.
You're right.
They reject. They say they will not fly because the condition they believe were not good.
It's pathetic. Yeah,
this cannot happen in Europe.
Never.
You cannot. It can't happen in England. It can't happen in Spain. It can't happen in Germany. So these are the factors why people will always want to play for another country. Okay,
look at the prolific player out of Ghana now. The new golden boy coming out of Ghana, Kudus. He started in power line in Ghana and moved to Denmark, from Denmark to, Ajax Amsterdam. And this is one of the prolific players that have already scored against Real Madrid, scored against the prolific club side coming out of Europe. And this is one of the player now that is really taking Ghana flag, so high in this latest World Cup. And this guy himself speak about how the European club side really helped him, in building him up. He said when he was in Ghana, the Ghana national team didn't have in Ghana, they don't have the adequate equipment for the footballer to build up their muscle, to build up themselves. But when he moved to the European club side, like in Denmark and Ajax Amsterdam in Holland, he really have a lot of space to develop. The equipment, everything they have for them is one of the top notch in Europe. And this really helped this player to be what it is today. And we can see the huge quality and the advantage of the player playing with the Ghana national team at this World Cup. We can see the opportunity, the way he's really showcasing himself, what he has learned from these years of him playing in Ajax Amsterdam in Netherlands. So what do you think about this new brother from Ghana, Kudus?
What he said is a fact. It's a simple fact. Europe, again, we must say that as the highest concentration of best of players.
Yeah, in the world.
In the world. So for you even to improve yourself, you have to play with the best. That is another factor. Apart from money, if you want to get money, you can go to China, you can go to Turkey, you can go to maybe Saudi Arabia to play. Those are the leagues that people retire to. But when it comes to developmental sport, you go to Europe. Of all the people that have become the best players in the world, all of them have been playing in Europe.
You have to play in Europe.
You have to play in Europe.
Even the Ballon d'Or, to give you world best player, you have to play in Champions League.
Yeah, you have to play in Champions League.
It's not even about the World Cup.
Yes, you have to play in Champions. In fact, there was a time Jose Mourinho said the UEFA Champions League is the biggest tournament, biggest and the most competitive tournament. They asked him why.
Money, yeah.
They asked him why. He said because in club football in Europe you can buy players from any other country, but when you play World Cup you can only play for a country in your lifetime. So what he's emphasizing is that you can get the best of players to play in Champions League, and that is in Europe. So the best way for you to grow, either in mental sense, in physical strength, in experience, is to play in Europe. So any serious-minded player will play in Europe. At the time, they asked, before he died, they asked Maradona who was the greatest. Maradona said he was the greatest. They asked him, what about Pele? He said, Pele never played in Europe.
It's very right.
Yes, he said Pele never played in Europe.
Because
he never won Ballon d'Or.
Maradona won the European Cup, the Europe Cup with Napoli.
Yes.
And he had enormous history, in Europe, in Europe football.
That is,
and he played for Barcelona too.
That is to emphasize the importance of European.
But Pele only played for Santos.
He only played for Santos in Brazil. So that is to emphasize. When somebody like Jose Mourinho says something about a competition, when Maradona emphasized the same thing, there's a
truth
fact
about
there.
it.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be going to the next one. We'll be talking about the first female referee, official referee at the World Cup. We have one referee from Mexico, we have the other referee from France, and we have the other one from... Three referee have been the main referee that the FIFA really supported on this occasion, to be the first female referee at the prolific World Cup, at the men World Cup, at the highest stage of the men World Cup. They are the first female to be the first referee at the Mondial World Cup. We have one Brazilian referee, we have one from France, and we have one from Mexico. So what do you think about this first female referee officially in the FIFA World Cup history?
That is good. That is very good. But I want to look at it from two perspectives. There was a time the USWNT, that is
American
United States
yeah.
Women National Team.
Yeah.
There was a time they were negotiating aggressively that they should be given equal allowances like men. They went as far as going to court for it before they got it. What is this saying? This is saying that women have come of age. They want to take their part in this global business. Now, FIFA has upgraded No, from some time they have been giving them, will I say, little jobs at maybe underage and other competition. But this is the global scene. They have given women 3 opportunities
on the highest level now.
At the highest level
of
to
football.
officiate. Now, this is good. This will encourage a lot of women to maybe to come to the stadium more and to participate more in sports. It will be an eye-opener for other women who would like to be referees too.
Okay, so you know the reason why the American national team really speaked up about their salary at the time?
Yes.
The reason is the American national team, the female national team, are the most successful national team in the world.
Yes.
So they have enormous trophy, you know, even what the men national team of the American football, they have never tried. They have not even do this of the, the men national team that plays soccer for the American people. They're very good, but, even now they're the one that most of the people are rooting for in this World Cup. But the female national team of America, the football, the soccer team, they made enormous history more than the men. And this is the reason why the women are really speaking out. Like, we're doing much work more than these men, so we need more money and you guys need to pay us more. So that was the reason why they speaked up at this time, of the day in the United States, because they just want more money. You can see the basketball team, the NBA basketball team of the men get more money than the female. In America, the sporting crew of men have more money than the female. That is the reason why the female are really coming out to talk. And I think the FIFA, bring out these 3 female to officiate, because I just want the world to be a better place for everyone through unity, through cooperation, through togetherness, because the women referees have been in the game for a long time. We've seen them officiating in the lowest level, like we talk about the junior men World Cup, under 23 World Cup. We've seen enormous women referee, and it's kudos to the FIFA, kudos to the board of FIFA, for bringing these 3 beautiful women down to the Mundial celebration at the World Cup. So
yes, I agree with you totally with the narration of a U.S. national team for the women. Yes, they've won what other female national team have not won.
Even their men national team
of course, the men have not won anything in the World Cup, so we give it to them. And another thing I want to point out there is that, the president of all referees now is Colina. If you remember, Colina at his time is the best referee in the world. Is the referee that is regarded as being at every sport of an infringement. Any infringement, he was there.
And he's the only referee that have the World Cup football, the final football of 2002 World Cup against Germany and Brazil. When Brazil won Germany, he had the ball with him.
So if you have somebody of that standard at the head, things must improve.
That's why we're seeing this new development and innovation. Yeah.
These things must improve. This must go forward. Another thing this man said about referees is that, because when they asked him, we are having too much added time. He said, in football, we cannot afford players wasting time. Every time wasted must be compensated.
Yeah,
that game is 90 minutes. It must be 90 minutes. So this man has started doing new innovation in football. So I believe in 2, 3, 4 World Cups to come, we have more women. I believe so.
Okay, so that's a good one. So what do you think about the knockout stage? We've seen the group stage, like a lot of teams have qualified. We see Ghana qualify. We see Senegal qualify from Africa. We see enormous people like France,
Brazil.
So we see enormous country like Brazil, like Argentina, all these prolific countries that qualify to the knockout stage. How do you think the knockout stage is going to be?
As usual, knockout stages is a stage where mistakes or too many mistakes will not be allowed.
Yeah.
Immediately you make a costly mistake, you're out of the competition.
For sure.
Sure. So, of course, every players should know that, and they need to prepare well for it.
Yeah.
They have to prepare well for it. This is not a time to rest players. This is not the time players we have unnecessary bookings. This is not the time players will take unnecessary fouls. No, they need to win each game. Each game is very, very important. You don't rest. And in this stage, you have to see that the tactics of each coach and the bench of each team, we have to play a big factor.
So this when they separate the men from the boys. Yeah.
And in the other time, we said West African countries are in the front.
Yeah.
For Africa. Senegal has qualified already.
And we see the hard work of Ghana, Tunisia, of Morocco, even Cameroon, all the country coming from Africa, they're putting in their work.
Of course, they are putting in their best. But of course, in football, I believe surprises will still happen. But
there'll be a lot of upset in this knockout stage. A lot of team like the England national team, they're going to show themselves. Argentina is going to show themselves. Brazil is going to show their wings to show the quality that they're bringing to the football, and mostly at this Qatar World Cup. So my brother will be going to the next topic. We'll be talking about Luis Suarez of Uruguay and the handball, the handball 12 years ago at the past World Cup. It's 12 years on now, and the whole of Ghana, they have deep hate for this brother, and they want revenge. So what do you think about the Ghana people still talking about this issue after this long period, and they still say they want revenge? So what do you think about this?
Yes, the Ghanaians have to remember this, because that was the best opportunity they had at that time.
At the World Cup.
Yeah, at the World Cup.
In history,
that was the best opportunity. And they were 1 foot there until Luis Suarez did what he did by stopping a net band ball with his hand. He got the red card, but unfortunately, Ghana, given the penalty, lost the penalty, and they were out of the competition.
They take them out of the World Cup.
Yes. Now, it's an opportunity for them to meet again. Whether they hate Suarez enough or not will be determined on the pitch. The only thing they can show here is to beat Uruguay. That's the only thing they can do. Whether they hate him or not, it does not matter. They should come out strong and beat Uruguay to show that we are better than you. We have always been better than you.
I'll be very happy to see that. I know Uruguay have a lot of prolific striker, a lot of enormous respected, with a lot of enormous experience in Europe and in the world. But I would love to see the Black Stars coming out of West Africa, the Black Stars coming out of Ghana. I would love them to see them beat the Uruguay national team and win the World Cup. This is what we're talking about. But is it good for the Ghanaian citizens to say they hate Luis Suarez? Is it good for them to say that?
No, hate has no place.
Because on this platform we preach about unity, peace, togetherness, oneness. Is it good for them to say they hate Luis Suarez?
There's no civil environment where hate should be tolerated. Hate is not a word that is. In fact, in social media language, if you use the word hate too much, they can bring down your platform.
Yeah, they can bring down.
So it is not allowed. But what I believe they are trying to emphasize here is that we hate is that Uruguay did not allow us to go further, and that is why I emphasize that. Say that on the pitch of football,
and they still have the pain.
Yeah, of course they have the pain. Beat them on the pitch
and show the quality.
Yeah, let's see how convincing you can produce to the people to say that, oh, you are better than them and you are still better than them. Beat them on the pitch. Beat them blue and black. Let us know you are better.
So it's what it is, my brother. Yes. So we'll be going straight to Nigeria. We'll be going straight to Bayelsa, the southern side of Nigeria. A Bayelsa-born lawyer, Michael Jonathan Numa, has become the first and the youngest, senior advocate in Nigeria at the age of 37. What do you think about this?
Great. This is the kind of news I want to listen to hear from Nigeria. Africa, especially Nigeria, where a lot of people, a lot of youth are becoming lazy. They don't really want.
Why do you say they're lazy?
No, most of our youth, your hard work should be able to finance your life.
Yeah, for sure.
If your hard work is not able to finance your lifestyle, that means there's something wrong you are doing. Yes, that's what I'm trying to emphasize. If somebody at the age of 37 can become SAN means Senior Advocate of Nigeria. It's not a mean feat. It's not a little lawyer. And this is coming as the youngest. This is a good challenge, especially when we look at the origin of this lawyer. Generally, in Nigeria, we want to believe that Bayelsa is not academically interested state, like maybe some state in the west or in the Delta, Imo, and stuff like that.
On the other side.
Yes,
and you know they're one of the smallest country. They're one of the smallest states out of Nigeria. After them is Lagos State, the two smallest states in Nigeria.
In Bayelsa, the state capital is Yenagoa.
Yeah. In
Yenagoa, it is only one road, one highway that goes into the town and comes out.
Wow.
So that is to show the level of development they have. It's not too high.
It's not too open.
It's not too open. Yeah, it's not too open.
But the crude oil they have in the state make it very open to a lot of people to go in there in terms of business, and in terms of other, things in Nigeria to get things done in Nigeria.
Yeah, that may be so. But most of those people around that place prefer to live in a neighboring state, which is Rivers. Port Harcourt is a lot busier, bigger, land-locked area, unlike Bayelsa, which is water-locked.
Yeah,
so what I'm trying to say is that this is a small community, so to say, and the best so far has come out from this place. So people who are on the other side, where they have more opportunity, this is a challenge, especially the youth, to come out and do something very, very meaningful with their lifestyle. This is a good news, and I hope to get more of this.
So this brother did something productive with his own life, and he has already moved up to be the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. This the tropical history that the Nigerian youth want, because this gives them more morale. They want to see a younger man can do this. A lot of youth who have this opinion and this mindset that, once this brother can do this, I can do more better too. So this is the kind of good things we're looking for in Nigeria. We're looking for a day that the president of the day in Nigeria will be one of the youngest in Africa, and it's going to help a lot of people, because most of the younger people coming out of Africa have this, this fire, they have this energy, and they put a lot of work into what they do in the country of the day at the time. So my brother will be going to the next topic. We'll be talking about Aisha Buhari, the present wife of Nigerian president, fractured her leg. This report comes in from her complaining about a student that threw a huge abusive insult to her. In the process of this issue, she fractured an egg. So what do you think about this issue of her getting the student arrested for insulting her of her weight of her body, and at the end this come to a big issue, and now she tripped off and break her leg? So what do you think about this?
Well, to me, I think a language is contextual. It depends on where you say something that gives that thing a meaning. To me, I don't think that is an abuse. I don't see it as an insult when somebody says the president's wife is fat. That is not the first lady of Nigeria might not like that for personal reason. It may not be a kind of expression, a kind of compliment, or anything she likes.
Even in Africa, you can't do that. Even in America, you can't tell people are fat. There's a big musician now, Lizzo. A comedian came out to insult Lizzo, like she's very fat and this, and it come to a big issue that even the comedian almost get cancelled.
Yeah, that's why I said language has contextual meaning. It depends on the environment that you say something. For example, in Africa, people generally appreciate people who are not skinny. If you are not skinny in Africa, you are a bit more on advantage side than people who are skinny. Right? So, if Aisha Buhari.
Yeah.
No, in Africa, if you are skinny, it's like an insult. When people say you are skinny, you are thin, you are not well fed. That is the implication in Africa.
They think you healthy. You eating good food.
But
you're not eating bad food. In the Western culture.
But in Western culture, the skinnier you are, the better.
The beautiful.
Yeah, the more beautiful they see you.
Yeah, but in Africa, the skinnier you are.
In Africa, no, you have to be fleshy.
You have to be full a little bit, pumpy,
before people really appreciate that you have enough money to
they
feed.
even believe bigger people and fat people in Africa are the rich people.
Yeah.
Once you big, you have to. Once you rich, you have to have big belly and everything.
That is why that colloquial comes in. That say somebody is a big man.
Yeah,
a big man. If you,
that's our mentality in Africa.
That's our mentality in Africa. That is why I said I'm particularly surprised that the first lady, who is supposed to be the mother of the nation, is so angry that she had the student to be arrested.
A young boy.
So I think even if you were offended and you ask the student to be arrested, it shouldn't degenerate to the extent that you trying to kick the boy. No, you shouldn't do that.
Break a leg.
That is an abuse of power.
Okay, so do you think we don't have freedom of speech in Nigeria or in Africa?
No, if you say something to me and I feel offended, I can challenge you. I can challenge it. It depends on you now to say, this is what I mean. I'm not offensive in what I said. I'm sorry. And if I'm not pleased, I can take you to court. But when somebody who is holding an high position degenerated into that, when you get offended and you kick somebody, that is an assault. It is a punishable offense with prison time.
Because we have our freedom of speech in Nigeria.
Everywhere in the world, people should be allowed to express themselves.
Their own personal opinion.
That is what the person, let's say, felt about you. You may not like it. If you do not like it, there are proper ways of doing things. You go to court. Go to court, challenge this boy in court. If you cannot do that, you shouldn't go so low and kick it. Now, it is because she fractured her leg. Who knows what she did to the boy?
Yeah, before she fractured.
Yes, she must have done more terrible things if the fracture is as a result of kicking a boy.
So this is what a lot of Nigeria have already speaking about now, and a lot of people have already think about this. Like they said, it's like the government of the day in Nigeria don't want us to have our own freedom of speech. They don't want us to express ourselves, to speak for ourselves. And Nigeria is a big country, over 300 million population. Like we need a room and a space for us to express ourselves as human beings in this democracy period in Nigeria, because we're not in the military era whereby you can say what you have on your mind. We're in the democracy era now, and they say democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the government of the day in Nigeria should give us space and room for us to express our own opinions too. So we'll be going to the other topic we'll be talking about. This is a breaking news in Nigeria now. Like Mobolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court of Nigeria have already, sentenced the Inspector General of Nigeria, Usman Baba, to 3 months in prison for disobeying court order. Is this a good look in Nigeria, whereby, the general inspector of Nigerian police, Usman Baba, will be sentenced to 3 months, for not obeying the court's order. So what do you think about this?
Usman Baba is the Inspector General of Police. That's the highest rank, highest office in the police system in Nigeria. And for not obeying court orders, in legal terms, is contempt of law. Mm-hmm. Contempt of law is punishable. You know that. And this court has been able to say something that is very, very instructional here, that no matter your position, the court still has the right to carry out its duties. This is what
for sure.
This magistrate Mobolaji is trying to emphasize here. No matter your status, if you disobey court rules, you must be punished.
And Nigerian...
However, That is the theory of it. The practice of it is that I'm waiting for that person, that junior officer, that court bailiff, who will do his duty or will do their duty and arrest that Inspector General of Police and put him in prison. We have seen cases where people who have been alleged of terrorism were put in prison custodies.
Yeah. And
up to today, we don't know where they are. There was a time somebody was put in a prison in Ibadan, Oyo State, on alleged terrorism act. Later, maybe months later, there was a jailbreak. The controller of prison could not tell the whole country where that suspect was.
Till today.
Till today. When they asked, he said the Minister of Interior, who of course supervises oversight function of prisons and things like that, the Controller General said the minister knows where the person is. So, and that ended it. So this man now, this Usman Baba, who has been sent to prison.
3 months in prison.
3 months imprisonment. I can't see how that man will serve the time. I don't see how. So I don't see the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria serving that time in prison. I don't see it because of enormous corruption in the country. And
nepotism that we have in our midst in Nigeria.
I don't think it can be affected. But it's a good thing anyway because it is on record now.
Well, we've seen Awolowo go to prison before for corruption and a lot of other people to in power in the east, in the south, in the north, everywhere. So I think it's going to serve the time in Nigeria. I think so.
Those are politically motivated prison terms. Yeah. Before you become an Inspector General of Police, you must be in the good book of the president. Because it's by nomination. It's by election. It's not by election. It's by selection. The president will just pick you and put you there. So I don't see him serving the time. But the good aspect of it is that it is now on record. Whether he served the times or not.
It's now on record.
It's now on record. It is a good reference point now for all lawyers.
Okay. So my people will become to an end of this segment today. We just are here to give you guys the new insight on what is going on the home ground in Africa and the international community. And thank you, Mr. Stephen, for always, showing up on the platform, giving us prolific history, talking about the insight on what is going on in the home ground in Africa and international community. It's a pleasure. So we think we want you to still come back to the platform, to give us more insight on what is going on around the world. Or what do you think about this?
It is always my pleasure to come back here and discuss what I know to discuss.
And it's a pleasure to really love having you around on the platform. So my people on AfricaUnitytv platform with KingIdris will become to an end of the segment today. Please like my content, share my content, and let's talk about this in the comment section. We have enormous content that we have on the platform. We talked about everything, and we talked about prolific breaking news too. You can check our content out. So we'll become to an end of the segment today. I'll be saying one Africa, one people, one unity over division.
Peace.
Thank you.